What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And if you saw or read the title, yes, I sold my motorcycle and bought a bicycle. Now let me kind of explain. The motorcycle, my 2019 ZX6R, was one of the things that got sold to fund the new JL Wrangler purchase. So it was gone. I am now daily driving, obviously, the Wrangler, and which we are now talking about a bicycle. But I've always been very interested in mountain biking. I've always had a bike growing up, but never had a real bike, if you will. I've always just had department store bikes, and what I mean by department store bikes is typically Walmart. I've grown up riding Walmart Mongoose mountain bikes my whole life, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. My last bike that I had was a 2012 Mongoose Deception. That is a 29er that I had modified with 203mm Avid Elixir brakes, and it was very modified, race face parts and pieces, but I always knew that I wanted a real mountain bike, and I ended up with this Yeti. I ordered it from my local bike store, and after a little while got it in. So I have been very excited to ride a real bike for the first time in my life. And goodness gracious, does it ride really, really well. And no, I don't think it needs to be a Yeti. I think any nice bike or real bike with real components, parts and pieces just kind of rides well because it's very nice parts and pieces. So what we're going to be doing today is throwing the first few mods on my new bike, and then we're going to be hopefully getting out and running at our local single track. Now, I've already got about 60 miles of single track work on this thing, so it's already dirty, dusty. It might have been down on the ground one time already, and that's one of the mods we're going to be doing is putting on some ride wrap. But let's quickly talk about this thing, and then we will get into the few little parts and pieces that we're going to be throwing on it. So I've got my spec sheet here so I can sound a little bit more educated as I'm talking to you. So what we are looking at here is a 2024 Yeti SB140. Now this is the base model, the cheapest of the cheap of the SB140s. This is the C2 build. So this is their C series carbon fiber frame, and this is the level 2, which is not better than a level 1. It is actually the base model, the lowest end components that Yeti throws on their bikes. But my goodness, is it 1,000 times better than anything I have ever owned or ridden in my life. So I knew I would be absolutely happy and completely fine with their base model cheap build, and that was one of the reasons why I went this route. This bike normally is really expensive. I'm going to throw a screenshot here of the website. You guys can see the normal price versus what it is currently marked down on their website for. I'm not going to actually say it out loud because I don't really like looking or seeing the number what I paid for a darn bicycle. So their C2 build, what you end up with is a Fox Float 36mm 150 mil or travel front fork. Now, of course, it's got your compression, rebound, lockout, all of that stuff that you'd normally find. Now, one thing cool with the frame, when in years past I've wanted a Yeti, there was never a white color, and everything I own is white, of course, but I always wanted to call them up and say, hey guys, can you just not paint one? Can you just leave it carbon fiber so you can see the carbon? And of course they would probably tell me, no, we're not making a specific bike for one person. But lo and behold, I think in 2023 they came out with their raw frame, which is basically just raw carbon fiber. Yes, I'm sure there is a clear coat or what have you. It is kind of a satin matte finish. So it's got some sort of finish over the carbon because that's how you have to do it, but it is just exposed or bare carbon fiber. So that's super cool that it is what I wanted years ago for them to make, and they finally now have that. Now we're looking at a 31.3 pound bike as it stands. Our rear frame or swing arm travel is 140 millimeters, hence the SB140 name. Now this thing is all set up with the Scram GX series. So not the base model, but kind of the mid-tier, and then obviously you've got more up high. But again, this is just outrageously nicer than anything I have owned or ridden in my life. Now for wheels, we've got Crank Brothers 29-inch wheels that are 30 millimeters wide. We are from the factory wrapped in Maxxis Minion DHF fronts and Aggressor rear tires on this thing. Headset is Crane Creek. We've got some Berg-Tech bars, Berg-Tech stem, some ODI grips, and a very surprisingly and extremely comfortable factory saddle on this thing. It is a Silverado custom with Yeti's name all over it, but I am like outrageously happy with that saddle. And another cool thing that I've never got to ride with is a dropper seat post. This thing has a 210 mil dropper seat post on this thing. Again, just normal things for mountain bikes, but again, I've never personally had one, so it's been really, really nice getting to use this thing out trailing versus single track versus riding. So it's been very nice having something that works really well and is, doing what it's supposed to do all together from the factory. So what we're going to be doing today is throwing on a MRP lower bash guard rock guard thing. Now this bike feels outrageously long, low, slack, all those words that modern mountain bikes are, versus my 2012 Walmart Mongoose, and I feel really, really close to the ground. So Yeti for 24 has put a really nice bash guard, rock guard on the lower frame section, so I'm just going to kind of complement that with a MRP lower chainring bash guard, rock guard. If nothing else, they kind of look cool, and the larger big brother to this, the SB140, comes from the factory with a very similar rock guard, bash guard. So we're just kind of complementing the higher up model here. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is throwing the Fox 38 factory pressure relief valves on this Fox 36. Both the Fox 36 and the Fox 38 were redesigned, I believe, for 2024, if not 2023, and they now have spots on the back of the fork housing where you can add pressure relief valves. So the 38 comes from the factory with them. The 36 just has aluminum plugs. So we're going to yank those out and throw the Fox 38 pressure relief valves in this thing. If nothing else, just because it's cool. Why ride around on a fork that has the capability to do something but just has a metal plug? So we're going to yank those, throw some pressure relief valves. Now last but not least, we are going to throw ride wrap on this thing. Now no, I'm not going to have a 20-minute long video showing how to throw ride wrap on, but we're at least going to maybe do a section, and then I will finish the rest of it up off camera. And then last but not least, I'm hopefully going to get out to our local or the very closest single track spot where I attempt to go ride each night and at least make a few hot laps for you guys so you can see where, at least here in the Wichita, Kansas area, we are riding. So first things first is our front fork pressure relief valves. Now, what our pressure relief valves are is just a replacement for this factory plug here on the fork tube. Now, this is not the pressure chamber, but this is the outer section or space of a front fork. And basically what this allows you to do is quickly just hit a button on each fork tube or leg and be able to equalize the pressure in the outer section. So if you change altitudes, you travel with the bike, or you're out beating on the bike, getting it hot, using it, you can again hit that pressure relief valve, equalize the pressure in those outer fork tubes, and have that fork be a little more predictable and have it work like it should the whole day. Now this is outrageously quick and easy, and this kit from Fox is really, really cheap. I will quickly throw the part number up here or have it down in the description, but it is 820-09-088-KIT. Again, this was like less than $20 from Fox, and at that price, just Fox, put them on everything that has the plug. Why are you being stingy? But regardless, I'm glad the parts are cheap, and we are quickly able just to pull our 5mm out, yank off the plug, which also doubles as a bolt that holds our factory fender in place. Now there is a little O-ring on this thing. You need to make sure it is in good shape, not cut, torn, twisted, whatever, and then we will go ahead and just tighten this back in. Now going back in with our new pressure relief valve, we need to make sure our fender is lined up. And then it is a 1/2 inch 6-point socket to get that thing ran the rest of the way in. So now with that tightened down, we are done. Obviously you'll need to do it on the other side. Now, I guess kind of check 1/2 inch socket or a 13mm. One of mine, the 1/2 fit really well on, and then this one, the 1/2 was a little bit tight, so I went to a 13mm. Again, pretty much the same size, but all we're doing is removing a plug and installing a bolt plug here with the hex on it. But now we've got our spring-loaded pressure relief valve here on those fork legs, just like the Fox 38 would have. So now on to our MRP bash guard, rock guard, chainring guard, whatever you want to call this thing. This is basically going to mount or live on the ISCG mount that is integrated into the frame. So this thing is going to bolt on and live right back here. And its point in life is to work as a skid plate, rock guard, whatever, bash guard to prevent rocks, whatever, from smashing into the chain ring, into the bottom of the frame section here. It's there to work as a skid plate when you are off-road and working this thing in the dirt and heavy rock. Now this thing comes with really nice countersunk Allen hardware, and then a bunch of different little spacers here. I think I'm gonna throw one spacer behind this thing and it should be good. So now we've got our bash guard on there, and as you guys can see, we've got a little more forward and bottom protection for our chain ring, the chain, our bottom of the frame section here, because like I said, Yeti does have a factory replaceable skid plate here on the new 24 SB. So this thing is pretty darn, hopefully protected from impacts here on the bottom. All right, so last but not least, I am going to show you guys a install of one piece of the ride wrap. Now I've got one piece already thrown on here so I can kind of show you what it even is. So if you guys can tell, which it's going to be kind of hard to tell, the bike's finish is this satin matte color. This is a piece of the ride wrap already installed. Basically all it is just paint protection film for your bicycle. Now the kit I've got all laid out over here, and again, this is from ridewrap.com. No, this isn't sponsored. I did buy my own kit, but it is a very, very thorough, cool kit. So I thought I would kind of show off everything that it comes with. Now, this is their like middle kit. They have a pre-cut kit that's like perfectly wrapped for each bike. This is a kind of generic one that is kind of for multiple bikes. But again, it comes with all of these different pieces all laid out. And then you've got your piece of actual paint protection film that's all pre-cut. Again, kind of hard to see here on camera, but that is this right here. And again, showing you where each of those pieces go. And now there was two different options for film, a gloss or clear, and then the matte satin finish, which I got, which is hopefully matching my bike as close as possible. Now, not only did it come with a nice little color instruction sheet, but we've got pre-install cleaning wipes. We even have our install solution concentrate with a little syringe here so you can put in the right amount of drops of our soapy slip liquid into a spray bottle. We've got a little nice microfiber and a kind of pretty decent silicone squeegee here. So with all of that, you're able to install onto your bike pretty darn proficiently, even if you're not some professional PPF wrapper installer, because these are pretty darn small pieces, so it's really not too hard to mess up. So you need your water bottle or a spray bottle that you can put your water and their soapy solution, a blow dryer or heat gun to help kind of lay down and stick some of the edges, and then just basically what comes in their kit. Now you will probably need some scissors here to do some fine tuning. You know, this bike has some factory chain protectors on the chain side, so I did have to do a little bit of trimming around here. This one I'll need to do a little trimming here around that, but for the most part, it's going to work really, really well. Again, I'll probably need to trim the down tube piece for that factory skid plate. But yeah, I'm excited to have a little bit more protection on this thing. So I will throw the camera on the tripod and show you guys at least throwing this one piece on. And again, I'm not gonna make a 30-minute long video showing you every single part and piece because that would take a real long time. All right, so there is another piece installed. Again, kind of hard to see on camera, but I guess that's kind of the point of it, that it almost blends in with the factory finish there on the frame. So I've got a couple of pieces finished out of a lot more to do, but that is your install, your clean the surface, put your soapy water solution, spray both sides of your material so it will it will move around nicely, get it squeegeed on, microfiber your water out, and then last but not least, put a little bit of heat on there to try to kind of help get that adhesive to stick down to the surface well. All right, so this is quite a bit later now from when I initially started this video and we threw some parts on this thing, but we're finally going to get out and ride this thing today. We've got all of our parts and pieces on. We've got our ride wrap. We've got our lower chainring bash guard and our cool pressure relief valves there on the front forks. So I think I'm just going to throw like time lapse of us riding because it's not terribly cool riding here in Kansas. We are going to go out to, it is Air Capital Memorial Single Track Bike Park. There is a decent few laps of single track out there, and then we normally run and go out into the back country is what I call it. It's just a big kind of open prairie area that will go and rip some trails. So I will probably have all of that sped up because again, it's not cool Bentonville Whistler jump trails or anything like that here in Kansas. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be running a GoPro on the chest mount, so we'll see how well that footage even comes out. So guys, hopefully this was interesting to you few mountain bike riders. And if so, continue watching through the end of this thing for our ripping out there at the trail. So guys, thanks for coming out here in the garage with me and working on the bicycle that replaced the motorcycle that hopefully will get me back in shape or get me in slightly better shape. And guys, until next time, thanks for watching and we'll catch you guys next time.
Oh, she's in the wrong gear. Oh boy.
Holy crap. Is this the... I guess. Yeah. But yeah, Marshall and those boys would be moon booting all their shit. Yeah. You'd still run the S-Works, right? Or would you rent a bike motor to not beat it? I don't know. I know. I don't think we're going to be booting the things. And there's always a little bypass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Probably. Other bikes, because they know they're going to get totaled about every fourth rider from crashing and breaking the thing. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's just call, literally just call a bike shop there and say, hey, how much is a daily rental? Okay, thanks. And you can sell it when you're, yeah, clean it up, do maintenance, and sell it for $700. You know what I mean? Right. And if it's an aluminum frame bike, you're not going to break it. So yeah, okay, what is your guess on trade-in on the Wrangler? Like, Griff and I have our guess. So window sticker was like 71.8 or 5 or something. I didn't pay that because I paid employee pricing. 58. We both guessed 60 flat. Yeah, but right now nothing's selling because interest rates and this, that, and the other.